Hi folks, another electrical update for you. What I've done is I've run the 10 2-wire and the 12 2-wire up through the floor, from the first floor up through the second floor, through the cavity where the joist cavity where the plumbing was, came up through the floor here, and as you can see I brought the feed into the junction box. I made all my connections in there. As you can see, the whites are twisted together, the blacks are twisted together, and the grounds are twisted together. I also go a little bit extra. I always put on the hot connections where there's a wire nut, I always put some extra electrical tape on just for safety. And also, if you look in the back of the box there, you can see that the ground screw has the ground wire wrapped around it and it's tightened down. So the box is grounded. Everything should be grounded from the panel box to here. Now I still have to run the wire from the first floor to the panel box, but I've come that far. With the 10-2 wire for the future hot water heater, I've just run that up here and I've wire nutted it off just for safety's sake. I'm probably not going to tie it into the panel box yet until I'm ready to put the hot water heater in. Certainly if I do, I won't have the breaker on. I'll put a piece of tape on it or something so nobody accidentally turns it on. Something like that for safety, but this is now ready to go. When I go to put a hot water in heater here, that's the wire I'll need for the connection. Now just a couple other little things. To get the wire through the wall and up through the joist cavity, I'm using this little tool. It's called a fish tape. This is a coiled wire inside this housing here, and it's made for pulling wires through walls. Electricians will use them to pull wire through conduit. This is a small one. It's not very expensive. This is only 25 feet. For most homeowner applications, you won't need anything longer. I have had 50 and 100 footers in the past, but I found that I really didn't need that much length. So if you need something for working in your home, this 25 footer is plenty long enough for most applications. You just strip a little bit of the insulation off the end of the wire, wrap it around the hook there, and then I put tape on it so it can't slide off, and then you just basically pull it through the wall. You fish it from where you want it to go to where the wire is, attach the wire, pull it through the wall, and then that's easier than trying to just shove the wire through the wall. That's especially true with this old plaster and lath that I'm working with. It's next to impossible to fish or to run wires just by themselves through those wall cavities because of this stuff. Part of that is because, as you can see here a little bit, when they put the plaster onto the lath board, they kind of squeeze it in and it bulges on the inside. You can see that maybe a little bit there in the background there. So that makes it almost impossible to have an open, smooth channel to run a wire through. The fish tape, the wire on that is stiffer and it will bust through that if you need it to, but the copper wires, it just doesn't work. Even if you're trying to do it down, down the wall going with gravity, it's still miserable to do. So any kind of running wires through walls, closed walls like that, I recommend using this fish tape tool. It'll save you a lot of hassle and aggravation, and as I said, it's not all that expensive. So my final step then here on the junction box is simply to put the cover over it. Got to have it covered, and I'll screw that tight. I also have it labeled so that in the future, if I'm not around or somebody else comes to do work here, they'll know where the circuit, what it's for. Also, I have the wires labeled. See, one says FI and then two say FO. That's just my way of abbreviating feed in and feed outs. Remember, we said there's one feed coming in, bringing electricity in, and we're running out to the top one here runs to the vanity, and the bottom one runs to the receptacle on the other side of the wall here. So that way it's helps somebody else who might come in here to work to get an idea what's where. It can be a nightmare if you're trying to trace wires in circuits if you don't know any kind of wiring plan, but this at least gives somebody a heads up as to what's where. Or if 10 years from now I come back to do something, it'll remind me what I did. So that's the next phase here. All I have to do now is run my 12-2, the other end of my 12-2 into the panel box, and then I'll have electricity in here. So I will have another video about that. We'll go over basics of what panel boxes are, how they work, and how you connect them in safely. And that will be another phase of this bathroom project then completed. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.